I'm Michael Sean Harris, and you're listening to Mike's Moment of, a weekly podcast in which I, along with my guests, share our various interests in moments of inspiration, truth, life, technology, culture, and more. I hope you're entertained and informed, and that you feel inspired to join me again and again in my moments of. Okay, hi.
Hey.
Welcome to another episode of Mike's Moment of. And what is this a moment of?
I don't know. What is this a moment
of? Frank conversations?
A frank conversation.
Something like a moment of Shawna. My special guest today is my good friend, Shawna-Kae Burns.
Hey.
What's up? Now, Shawna recently became Twitter famous because of something she said on stage. Mm-hmm. What did you say on stage?
So basically verbatim, I said, I don't even know which camera for looking at. Just tell me which camera for looking at. Yes. Men, your job on this earth is not to mind woman. Me tell you that when you're in a committed relationship with your wife, your partner, your girlfriend, you should be able to look at her and say, out of the love of your heart, kind of say, you know, baby, your ear and nails just as much as me as a woman for say, baby, barber time, you know.
Right.
So basically that was the essence of what went Twitter viral.
Right. Went viral. And since then, every gold digger on Twitter and Instagram took umbrage.
Note, I did not say that.
No, I said it, my back broad. Every gold digger on Twitter and Instagram and probably Facebook and who knows where else, they were just upset.
They were. And then the thing about this is, so a lot of, about two more famous Instagram and Twitter personalities came out and they did their little videos and stuff on it. And so, of course, they spliced the first 15 seconds of the 30 seconds that went viral,
right,
which only talk about your job on this earth is not to mine,
right,
woman. Stop right there. So, and then they came in with their posts or their videos and so on. And I said, so I'm to the rest of it, because it's not just, and actually, you know, Mike, I was really thankful when it happened because I said, okay, this is a better representation of me. Because if it was just that 15 seconds that went viral, I would have felt more uncomfortable.
Okay.
But because the second part also went viral, as in it was the full 30 seconds that I talked about, when you're in a relationship, of course, you're supposed to be able to go, baby.
To take care of each other.
Yeah,
right.
Just as much as me supposed to go, baby. Time now.
Yeah, but if it's just, you know, your body part that I have this thing, so you must give me some money every month.
Yeah.
That's a bit.
No, it's problematic. It is, and it is problematic. And I think what we're talking about on the show, which is like even now. So I went to an event last night, and was it last night or night before? And one of my past students, Miss, me never like what you said. And the first thing I looked and I said, have you watched the entire interview? No, miss. I said, watch the entire interview. Mm-hmm. Because really, the whole thing was about so much more than what. But I understand Twitter fame.
Right.
I understand Insta. I understand the millennials. Listen, I'm a part of the millennial, I think, when you're, well, no, I'm no longer in it. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't deal with those labels. But it's
right. Go on. But just in terms of if you understand, it's very pequeño. Mm-hmm. So you have to hit them. That is what's going to become famous.
Right.
And I guess in the larger instance, it sparked a conversation because of the wider context of all the stuff that's going on in Jamaica right now. Mm-hmm. It's a conversation that I'm okay with having. I'm annoyed sometimes that even though people are still talking about it, not because I don't think the conversation needs to be had, but people have not moved beyond the fact that that was just the hype.
The thing that you said, right?
And I'm just like, why are not mad at me? Like, how is this?
Right. And it's mostly women, isn't it? But
mostly women are mad.
But the fact is, there's some men being minded by women as well.
Absolutely. And nobody talk about that. Me too.
I'm not calling any name, guys. But I know some musicians being minded by women from foreign.
Yes. Okay.
They're sugar mamas.
And a lot of musicians, a lot of I think these guys who are very well placed in society here,
right,
and they look like this type of a man. Them have them woman a foreign that is minding them, and when them take the plane and go up, she do all of the spending.
Yes.
You understand me? So here is my thing. If it is that you have that type of relationship and you're okay with that, then own it, which was also something I had said.
Oh, and that never made it never made it to Twitter or Instagram.
No, because even
the thing is, I mean, as long as you're in agreement in terms of what the deal is with this relationship,
then that
it's fine.
Mike, there was a part of the interview that I said, listen, big people can't have a conversation. If you want my goodies and I want your goodies, then let's have a goodies relationship.
That's right.
So if we're having that, it's fine. I think one of the problems starts to happen now is when people feel like love is in a place, where it's not. Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that you said about this little clip, that doesn't reflect like who you are really.
Right.
It's just like a very small part of.
It's a very small part of a larger conversation, and a larger of who I am, because in a very sense I am very traditional as well. So I do believe that, you know, men should pay the check, and I think every woman likes that.
Okay.
And the other side of me is that very feminist, very independent. Listen, I have my own card, I have my own money. As a matter of fact, let me take you out. And I have played both those roles in my life with people that I've dated. So, you know, I'm about that. And no time at all, I think, was I ever saying that men shouldn't be that role. But then at the same time, I'm like, what is the pressure of that role doing to men? Right. And that is where I'm more concerned.
Especially if them can't manage it. I mean,
exactly.
Because you see some people struggling to fulfill that fantasy.
Right.
And I mean, the pocket can't do it.
The job
can't do it. And the lifestyle can't do it.
And I'm just like, why? So at the same time, if me as being a feminist or understanding that movement, I'm agreement with the fact that women are not on this earth to serve men. Right. Then men are not on this earth to mind you. Mm-hmm. And I'm just boggled at the conversation. Right. And why. But people knew why they only took the first part of the thing.
Because you're saying call them worthless.
Yeah.
Those people who took umbrage worthless. Or as some people say, workless.
Workless. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I guess women really don't like it when you put some of them stuff on blast.
Yeah. I mean, there's like this woman trying to shut down my gravy train. I know I'm terrible, but you know, yeah, I own it.
That's it, and that's always it. Because if you own it, you own it, and that's what it is. But I mean, for me, what a lot of people may not have realized because of my personality that it affected me, I cried. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had little WhatsApp conversations.
Yes, we had a WhatsApp conversation.
I'm like, and I was like, Shawna, I'm lucky.
And a lot of my friends were like that. But like, even though I can come off as being strong and being out there, it suffers. Suffers in some way. So because my whole thing is. And maybe that goes back to even me as a teenager. You know, what is it that people look at you and people see? Right. And the fact that I don't want anybody to feel that for some women who are in positions where honestly them can't feed them pitney if a man don't mind them, I don't want to ever negate their story because I think their story is real. But I'm looking around at the context and I'm saying, so in the fact that we are doing so much to save women, I think a lot of the times, especially in this new dispensation, the men are feeling neglected. And I'm of two opinions because I'm just like, listen, the women haven't organized themselves. Right. So men organize yourselves. Right.
But I mean, that's not so easy though. I mean,
it's not.
Because men, you know, there's all this, I mean, you know, these buzzwords are thrown around, the toxic masculinity and all that stuff.
Masculinity.
So there's all these these things that men are expected to be and expected not to do and not to be involved in and not to talk about.
Right.
So the feelings thing is for some people is a new thing. It's a foreign thing.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a foreign. A real Jamaican man
Them
not
don't
talk about them feelings.
Then they'll suck it up and they die at 60.
And they die.
So I mean, yeah.
And it's not even like the Rugo Badman type of thing. I think most Jamaicans have that father or that uncle or that father figure.
The strong figure.
That strong Jamaican
that never
man.
complain and never.
Everything is cool with me.
Everything is cool. You know, I will take care of it.
I fit in an overhead compartment.
Right.
Them little something there.
Yeah.
It don't work.
Yeah.
It don't work.
It's rough because, I mean, you look around, you know, I mean, I know we're like, you know, there's all these things going on about, it's part of the culture and we're careful how we criminalize this, you know what we're talking about. So, you know, like the catcalling and all that stuff. It's part
I remember
of the culture
that.
And all. But really...
and it's not part of the culture because we do it around the world.
But the thing is that there's a lot of damaged people around and nobody's identifying what the damages are and what the source of the damages are and how we can fix it, how we can stem it. And the people who are younger. I mean, they like to talk, you know, we throw around the youth things all the time. Let's fix it for the youth. But the people who are not youths, quote unquote, are still alive and still part of, you know, the society and still function in society. So you have to really think about them as well. It's not just the youth. You have to think about how are you gonna address what's happening in this 60-year-old person's life and help them make a change for the better. And
also one of the things is not because it was a part of our culture means that it needs to continue.
It doesn't mean it was good either.
And it doesn't mean it was good. So because Jamaica felt safer,
right,
or a particular way 30 years ago, does not mean that all of the bad stuff, we were very good at hiding stuff.
Right. There's some stuff that's a part of America's culture that needs to go. It still really hasn't gone.
It hasn't gone.
It's gotta go.
It gotta go
because the people they're suffering, and some of them don't even realize that they're suffering.
And that's the thing.
So plastering culture as a little blind and say, that must be great.
Yeah.
You know,
I think it's not it, and I think that's one of the ways in which I guess we're thankful for this generation of people or the people who are like-minded is that we're also in the business of blasting open.
Yeah, which is a cool thing. In a lot of ways, it's a cool thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you open up the wound and people are going to complain. Some people are going to say this hurts or whatever. But sometimes that's the only way we can clean it out.
Yep.
Really, it's just
it literally is the only way we can clean it out because there are some deep infections that unless we show whatever the thing is that will burn us, it's not going to get better. So as I said, you know, for me, it really is about the greater conversation. And as a teacher, I'm always about that life. Right? I've always been kind of that person who I will have these confrontational conversations in my classroom. Right. But I guess in your classroom, it's a more of a controlled setting. When you do it on TV, and then in this day and age where the internet is here for you. Right,
but then also because you know everybody can edit some video too.
Yes,
you know you can pick and choose what. I mean, there's some stuff that was going around with the kids from Schools Challenge quiz,
and TVJ
and you know the answer was not the answer for the thing so TVJ had to put out that thing.
So first of all, I was one of those people who was just like, oh. They really said that?
No, immediately when I said it, I was like, lies.
But then, you know, it's so funny because my mind went to an actual article that came out by a noted PNP person calling the JLP Prime Minister that. And I was just like, I wonder if that was a reference of the kids. Me, again, with my fufu
probably those
self.
same people from that camp who edited the video.
And I
said, I don't know. Nobody will come from with the guns, please. Thanks.
Right, please?
All right.
But then that was another part of the same thing. So when I saw it, I said, oh, wow. And then when I saw TVJ put out the press release like 2 days ago, I was just like, yo, we're on something else. Because again, now you're saying something, you're putting this primary school in dispute. None of these people are over 10.
They're kids. They're
kids. Why are we doing this? For your amusement.
Right, exactly.
For your amusement. Yeah. And again, it's the same thing even when I throw it back to one of the popular videos that came out of me. And I said, boy, it's easy for us to make a skit or do something.
But you don't think about the consequences.
And it's the real reality of somebody out there.
True.
And what are some of the things that we're saying? And I'm not saying that everything needs to be serious. I'm one of those people that is very in love with the Jamaican saying, you know, kin teeth, kiba heartbone.
Yeah, right.
Kin teeth, kiba heartbone. type of thing. And I'm just like, it's true. And that now is a part of our culture.
Yeah, we do make light of a lot of things so we can get through it.
So we can get through it. And that's exactly it.
Yeah, but sometimes we also tip the scale over to being cruel with the humor.
Yeah.
And we don't think about how it affects those people. And even how it will affect yourself.
Yeah.
You as well.
Yeah.
When you do it like,
a classic example of that is Jamaicans' pet names.
Yes.
Because you're dark blacks. Because you're short man.
Yeah.
You know, big man.
Because you're a carpenter copy.
Just a whole heap of little things.
Yes,
and for us, it's fun. And then what you find is, maybe the younger generation or a different generation, one way might say to you, actually, I don't like that name.
Yeah, that's inappropriate.
Whereas back in the day, my grandfather could have probably felt like that, but never felt the freedom to actually ever say, yo, somebody don't like when nobody call me blacks.
But it's like my father, like, people used to call him Mr. Chin. He's not Chinese in any way. He's Indian.
Yeah.
So I mean, but as far as they're concerned, not black. So
right?
Mr. Chin works. So, but
sorry, we're so terrible. I mean, I guess it would have been really amazing if we had said like maybe Scottish man, Irish man,
right,
but we don't know these differences.
Yes, yeah.
We don't know these differences.
We call Japanese people Mr. Chin. Everybody's Mr. Chin.
They're like, so why them are going? So I'm like, possibly because they're
Mr.
not from
Kyoto
China
or something, or Mr. Yamaha, something. I don't know. But all right. But let's talk about culture. There's something I was thinking about culture,
right?
In terms of how we deal with what we call Jamaican culture,
right?
And I mean, there's a lot in Jamaica's culture, and a lot of it that can be monetized as well,
right?
But the people in power or with control, and even not so much those people, kind of prop up the things that they think other people are interested in. Yeah. And everything else kind of falls to the wayside. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, it's really kind of like we're being whores, in a sense. It's like,
yes.
Honestly,
yeah,
it's like, okay, this is what they want to see, so come, push up your bosom.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
Yeah,
or talk so. If you don't talk so, get a time, because you're too pale. You can't represent Jamaica.
You're not Jamaican enough.
You're not Jamaican enough, right? So, but when you look at other countries, whatever their culture is what their culture is, and if somebody likes it, then like it.
Yes.
And then, but they're not trying to say no, you can't do that because it's not.
Yeah.
So I mean, where does that come from?
I mean, I don't know. I guess the easy, educated answer is, effects of plantation system and colonization and this ability to sell ourselves to the highest bidder, and maybe some of that's in there too.
But that's tied to the wagon, because I think that same thing is part of this wagonist thing that we always say in Jamaica. Wagonist. If somebody like it, then yes, it's
run on it.
That's ours,
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, and the complaint has also been that we don't recognize the value of our culture until somebody else does.
Outside of us,
some white person, some Chinese person, some European person recognizes it. And I'm not sure if we are settled yet on owning all of our culture.
Right.
So we can own dancehall and reggae because, it was, and Bob Marley was the consummate old ghetto Rasta man, as brown as he was, until, American Europe or wherever was just like, oh my God, this jewel. And then he became this thing.
But, because, I guess I have to call this, but I'm not saying any lies anyway. When I was doing my master's, I interviewed Mr. Siago.
Okay.
And so Mr. Siago was instrumental, right, in getting the ska and the reggae out there.
Yes, I know that.
Right. So, and I think I'd asked him the question, so what about the other folk? He says, well, whether or not this stuff would make the money. It basically is what he was saying.
True.
So then all the other folk music, even though he was instrumental in getting those things recorded as well and preserved, but nothing was done with them. You see, so all this mento and all the...
And it's all of this great stuff.
Yeah, all the kumina, all that, it's there. But the people who do it also know, because nobody's really pushing it.
Yeah.
Those people are dying out too, and they're not really teaching the kids, and
then I guess because in a way, I guess new things that come out with the time have a way of looking flashier.
Right.
And you can sell flashy. Because reggae is sexy. Certainly Bob Marley in him little jeans, button down, and him jeans pants them sexy.
Right.
And people are even
tight.
saying that, and him have a different appeal than a Tosh.
Right.
So push up Bob, because Bob can work.
Because he's almost white.
Because his father looks like John Wayne. Exactly.
So, yeah.
So it's the same thing. It's like, so we're pushing what we perceive to be fancier or
It's the same thing, though.
flashier.
It's the same thing. We're pushing what we think other
People
people
want.
will find palatable.
In the meantime, white boys, white bands all around the world are making ska albums and getting Grammys.
And so again, we're like fad, this fad
Yes.
culture, wagonist again.
Yes.
The fad culture. So I mean, we make this thing, it's great, but we think that the people want this now. So let's do this.
So
but
let's
the people,
do this.
In actuality, can manage all of the things that we've made.
All of the things.
Because all of the things that they've made, they're also managing, plus the things that they
Plus-
like from other cultures.
And you can carry it back to
Exactly.
the patois, which is also one of my personal pet peeves, because I did my undergrad in linguistics language,
Okay.
and I was a part of that cohort that really was the first, not the first, but early instrumental in saying, hey, this thing is a language on its own.
Right.
And there are still people who kill them dead that you can't push patois because patois can't go beyond our borders. Yet, Japanese people coming down here, going to dancehall culture, are more proficient in patois
That's some of us.
than some of us.
That's true.
And more proficient in patois than Jamaican English, because we think that the world won't be able to digest it. And it's an untruth.
Right.
These people are learning patois from songs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's how they learned it. I think I remember listening to an interview with Gentleman one time, and he actually said that is how he learned patois.
Right.
Was all of these old reggae songs that he used to listen to. And by the time him bust on the scene, I was like, "Whoa, who is this white boy from? Where's Gentleman from? Germany." And so many Germans.
Yeah.
Reggae is huge over there. Where
And
do you think
Spain
they're? Where do you think they're learning it from?
From the
And
songs,
why
from the
would
songs.
we assume that people can't digest patois?
But even with that, there's in Latin America, some parts of Latin America,
Right.
Central America, South America, there were Jamaicans and other Caribbean people
Right.
who moved over there. So now there's communities who speak Spanish
Yes.
and speak patois. I mean, they call it Creole, but it's patois.
Yes, it's patois. Yeah.
So me and Peter Ashburn, we went to Colombia, went to San Andres Island and Providence Island, and those are the communities. So they have mento.
Yes.
They're singing some of the old mento songs that we know and some others. And actually, it's developed even more because, mento is coming from the different figures of the quadrille.
Yes.
So because we're following this pop thing,
Yes.
all our mento eventually became this 4/4 stuff. They have stuff in 6/8 and stuff, which is mento as
wow.
well. And really cool, some of the instruments changed. Instead of the
Yeah.
rumba box, they're playing a tub bass.
Yeah.
And they're using like a horse jawbone for a shaker kind of thing.
Wow.
And they're playing mandolin instead of guitar.
And it's so funny. You will have younger generations that will go now to these countries and go, "Oh my God, their folk music is so cool." And I mean, younger Jamaicans.
And they'll realize it's ours.
And
It's the same.
They'll be like, "Yeah, you know where that came from?" Nah. Boy. Just like hip hop.
Yeah.
Because hip hop has been louder and people have said it over again. Hip hop came out of Jamaica and came out of the Jamaicans that went and lived in New York.
I mean, and there's a name, Cool
Yeah,
Herc, DJ
Cool Herc, yeah.
Who with the toasting, with the turntable, the turntablism kind of came out of that.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, I guess because people know that, because again, it's a louder, flashier.
But also now it's coming back. I mean, before it was popular,
Right.
nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
So
True.
now that it's popular, now there's a festival coming and he's going to be here.
Oh, really?
The Jamaica Music Festival is happening
nice.
soon and he's going to be here as part of it.
Very
so
cool.
now it's come back around because now
Yes.
it's such a popular thing. So, wagonists.
Wagonists.
Once again.
Sorry.
So boy, I don't know how we can beat that thing out of our system.
Yeah, I don't know.
And just to be true to what you're doing, because even the people who are here, Jamaicans who are here making their hip hop, their Jamaican hip hop and their rock and stuff,
and
they're
people
being told
laugh at
nobody
them.
wants to hear that.
Exactly.
They want to hear reggae. You're Jamaican. They want to hear, and sure that might be right, but they can. But people can also appreciate other things coming from the country.
I mean, I remember, some people knew about Tessan after Idol.
Right.
After, God, it wasn't Idol. What was
Voice,
it?
The Voice. Right.
And before that, and I'm like, I remember when people, like, it was a small following, and Tessan did rock.
Yeah.
She did Jamaican rock along with Downstairs.
Rock and reggae, exactly.
And all of these other legitimate Jamaican rock bands. And I've gone to the shows, Jamaican hip hop, which is where Kabaka Pyramid came out of the rap scene down here.
Right,
and people
movement.
think that these things are something that is not us. And I'm just like, we have it though. We own it.
Yeah.
We are a part of all of it. And
we've had influence in the international movements of them.
Yeah.
Even like the electronic music coming, dub, the dub music influenced it greatly. Reggae, influenced drum and bass and jungle and those things.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention like the what they call tropicals, which is really dancehall.
Yeah.
I said so.
Yes.
So
true.
Exactly. So I mean,
true. And isn't like dubstep coming out of like one drop or something? Like I don't know, something. I don't know.
So.
But it is so. I think one of the things have to be that we have to. I think it's the me and yous who have to stop having a conversation about it. And we are also doing it already. It's when we go and in our classrooms, we're teaching them, and we have to start investing in our culture and teaching our culture from very young.
Right.
Like I remember...
go ahead.
I was saying, I remember there was a period where we stopped teaching, for example, civics in school.
Right.
And I think they're trying to reintegrate it, or they have reintegrated it in the last couple of years. And I'm saying, whose oversight was that? Why have we stopped teaching them our culture?
Right.
Because that's what happens to America. That's why Americans know America so well. And I'm not saying that we should go down that road, because I think one of the things for me is that I remember even when I lived there, some of my roommates, they didn't know world geography.
No.
They know American geography. And I mean, hate it or love it, one thing is that they will always own their culture.
Exactly.
The other side of it, though, is that they're from the Caribbean, They're like, oh, you're from Jamaica? Is that in Africa? I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
No.
You get all kinds of stuff with that, trust me. Because I remember being in college in Boston, and we're at the cafeteria, and someone goes, oh, so you're from Barbados? What part of Jamaica is that? And I was like, please don't say that. Please don't say that. They will hate me. They'll hate me.
First of all.
It's like, and of course, the people, so is Bob Marley your president? It's like, yeah, he's dead. He's dead, though. He's dead? So he can't be our president, because he's been dead a while. But yeah.
Sorry. I don't it's so silly. Oh, boy.
But no, so one of the things that I've mentioned to different people, and I don't know how it's going to happen, or if it will, but is this idea that I've had of making modules for primary and prep school and high school of different things about the culture that the kids, the students are exposed to, whether it's the music or the theatrical stuff. There's a lot of stuff in historical things and information of how we have influenced the world that they don't know about. And I think with that, they would have a greater sense of self.
Right.
Once they have this sense of how vast their own culture is. and how far-reaching it is.
And I think one of the things is that people say, but those things exist when you've made it to a UA, a UTech, or a EDNA.
And it really needs to be earlier on.
Yeah.
Because the thing is,
first of all, so many Jamaicans aren't going to make it to these tertiaries.
True.
So, and by that time, even you and I can say that we have students, and it's so hard for them to understand some cultural stuff, because they've already had at least 19, 20 years of things stuck in their head about how backward we are or uncultured we are, and why we can't be like this other culture. And I'm like, do you know half the influence that we've had around the world? Yeah. So we really do need to...
Because we end up spending the first year or two kind of teaching them about these things, when really we could have if they had learned it from primary school and high school, we would be taking it to a next level in the tertiary level,
and it would make our output so much richer.
Exactly.
So I think so. Definitely, I'm on that. When you're ready,
because there's so much we have that hasn't been codified and hasn't been researched and hasn't been documented in a way that other places have done with their things, and when you mention it to some people, they go, oh, but your culture is so young, but the culture is not so young. That's because we've only been independent since whenever. The culture it's hundreds of years old.
Yep. Thank you very much. I'm always on it. So when you're ready to get it, I'm about those modules. Okay. I think we definitely, and I guess it really has to come down to us. Mm-hmm. It has to come down to us to approach the ministry or call on networks that we have and say, yo, this thing needs to happen now. And I think understand that it's gonna get a pushback, and we're probably gonna get very tired.
Right.
But I guess that's the thing, is if we start the work, some of our students will take up the mantle, and the fight will eventually be won. But we have to keep at it.
True.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this sounds like a natural closing of the conversation.
Yes.
Shawna, thank you so much
Thank
for coming
you
by. Like
so
with
much.
a springboard from one thing to the next.
Next.
It was nice. It was very good. How can people find you if you want them to find you?
Boy.
On social media.
I think by now people know to find me, but at Shawna-Kae Burns.
Okay.
SHAWNA.
And that's Instagram.
And that's Instagram.
And what about Twitter? Are you
I'm
on
not
Twitter?
on Twitter. I
Okay.
have no intention to go on Twitter.
Certainly not now.
And certainly not now. I have no intention to go on Twitter.
Right.
But yeah, man, the spelling of the name is SHAWNAKAE BURNS. So Instagram is at Shawna-Kae Burns. On Facebook, I'm probably SK_Burns.
Okay.
That's what I am, and that's the only way you can get me. Or if you Google me, you'll see my cultural work, which, you know, let's put that out there.
Yeah, because there's a lot.
And also the fact that I am an educator and a social worker.
Right.
And
an actress.
And an actress,
Yeah.
yes. That's what I my cultural work.
Yeah.
Never forget that. And you can find me if you want to. And my accounts are private. I will tell you that.
So it's all if she know you.
Or if, and I surmise, I kind of look.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people, especially recently. Who are the people I have in common? Even if you don't know me, I can look at you and kind of, God has given me discernment, hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
That I can go and say, yo, if you're about to waste of time, it's not likely.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, because I don't have time to entertain
Block,
it.
delete.
I just can't bother.
Block, delete.
But you definitely can find me. I'm definitely out there.
Okay.
You know, I'm findable.
Good. Good. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Me too.
Thanks. So I'm told I have to say this, you know, this is new to me. Please, guys, like, comment, share, what else? Rate, subscribe. I don't know, you know, just engage.
Engage.
Thank you very much. All right.